Well, the Derby is just around the corner, and one of the forerunners for the race is Ambiente Friendly. He was sourced at the Tattersalls Craven Breeze Up sale for 80,000 guineas, and we've come here this morning to James Fanshawe's Pegasus Stables to find out how his preparations for the big race have been going. James, you were lucky enough to see Ambiente Friendly this morning. How pleased were you with him, and what did you do with him today?
Well, it actually chucked it down with rain, and if you hadn't come to film this morning, I probably would have been sort of ducking and diving as to whether we pulled out, but it's warm. So he's been out and done 2 cants up Warren Hill, and just the first one was steady, and the second one he just quickened up the last furlong.
What does his programme look like now, between now and Epsom?
Well, it's, you know, he's a very sort of clear-winded horse, so he doesn't need a lot of work, and he's had 2 runs this year. He ran the field and at the Craven meeting, and then he won the Lingfield Derby Trial, and you know, that was only sort of 10 days ago. So he's pretty fit. So he'll just do one bit of work, and then hopefully we'll keep him in one piece and thriving till the Derby.
How was he when he came back from Lingfield?
Yeah, he was really good. You know, he was fine. You know, he obviously going a mile and a half. It was a quick time. Then he broke the track record. So, you know, he had a race. He had quite a tough race, but he's been eating well and seems really nice and bright. How
surprised were you on the day? Did you expect that performance?
Before the race, he was an outsider, and there was lots of sort of things he was sort of thinking about. Will he switch off? Will he stay? You know, because there looked to be a good pace in the race, and that's one of the reasons we actually went for the Lingfield Derby Trial, was to get the confirmation that he would stay, and he did. You know, he stayed really well. But before the race, I was just hoping for a good run, and because he's not a horse we gallop a lot, you know, so I'm not looking for a horse to go and win his gallops by 10 lengths and saying, way we're off the Derby. I'm looking to have a horse in good nick to perform on the day.
Ambiente Friendly and Callum Shepherd here for the Gredley family is storming away, and Ambiente Friendly wins the William Hill Lingfield Derby Trial.
But it really was an extraordinary performance, because he can be quite keen. He's strong early in his races, and to finish off the way he did, you know, his pedigree doesn't necessarily say that that's what's going to suit him, but it brought out a new level of ability.
I enjoy looking at pedigrees,
yeah.
And looking at his pedigree a lot. He's got the sort of golden nick of Galileo on Fastnet Rock, which is, you know, I'm told is a really good cross. So that's the first thing. On his dam side, you know, his mother actually won over a mile and a quarter on very soft ground in France, and then didn't race anymore after that. So she was obviously quite useful. And then the grandmother was sort of a close relation to a Guineas winner. So there's lots of different bits, and then there is stamina in there. But I think there's been plenty of other horses who have done well and have performed well in the Derby who haven't necessarily had a staying pedigree.
Yeah, and presumably you had quite a lot of faith that was going to suit him in that step up, or was it very much a fact-finding mission?
It was after the Autumn Stakes last year. Mr. Gredley and Tim came up with a plan. They said, you know, we want this horse to go a mile and a quarter, because, you know, we could easily have gone a mile sort of programme with him. Once your sort of targets have been set, you try and do your best to hit them.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about his development, because as a 2-year-old, I mean, he looked fantastic at Leicester when he debuted, but he was happy to make all in those days, wasn't he, and get on with his races. And then there's been a move to settle him and get him a little bit more in behind in races this year. How have you tried to educate him through his runs?
Well, if you did the stats on my horses making the running, it's not. There wouldn't be many horses of mine that go out to make the running, and it was just by pure chance at Leicester that he popped out and he was there. Yeah. He came out the sword very well, and he travelled, and Tom Marquand just left him alone, and you know, he didn't have to move on him hardly. You know, he won very, very nicely there. We went from 7 to a mile at Newmarket, where he'd breezed as well. He broke well there, and he had no cover, and it just ended up setting the race up for everyone else. And saying that, it was a tough second race. You know, he'd gone from a maiden to a Group 3, you know.
And ran very well.
So he probably wasn't quite strong enough for a race of that calibre. So, but after that, the plan was to go middle distances with him this year.
Talk to us a little bit about when you first laid eyes on this horse. He came from the Craven Breeze Up sale. How did the selection process work there? So we know your former stable jockey, Freddy Tylicki, obviously picked him out.
Well, I didn't really have I didn't really have an order for the sales, but we went round, Tom and I went round them anyway, And this fellow was on our list. After he was knocked down, I saw his knockdown to Freddy Tylicki, and I said to Freddy, God, you bought a nice horse there, because he was 80,000. And he said, yeah, I bought it from Mr. Gredley. So anyway, as it turned out, Bill bought 9 at that sale. I think it was 90. I think he was 90, and he bought 9 just standing by the ring. You know, I don't think he'd done much sort of work on the times and that sort of thing, but Freddie had put this horse up to him. He'd asked Freddie to find him a horse, and he found this fella.
And so you got him home from Tattersalls. What did you think at that
Well,
stage?
we got 4 from the breed. I hadn't trained for Bill for roughly 25 years, and he sent me 4 for nostalgic reasons. So anyway, they've all 3 have done really well, and 1's very good. So
the bigger picture, James, obviously it would be a first British Classic for you. You've won countless Group 1s in the past, but do you feel different going into this? Do you feel the pressure?
Not really. As you said, we're just trying to make sure we're doing everything right, and we're trying to leave no stone unturned, and everyone's being sort of really vigilant, and the team's, you know, the yard is really sort of looking forward to it. You know, there's a bit corny, but it's a real thrill to be having a horse going for the Derby. It's the Premier Classic, you know, and we've got a runner, so you know, hopefully everything goes smoothly between now and then.
Well, Freddie, exciting times ahead. Tell us about Ambiente Friendly, how you picked him out, what you thought when you first saw him at the Tattersalls Craven Breeze Up sale.
Yeah, hi, good morning, Gina. Yes, great to be here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it came about that I went around and did my homework at the Craven Breeze Up sales, and that was a day before the Breeze Up, and I met Mr. Gredley, and he said to me, try and get me a nice stare. He didn't want a speedy type, he wanted a stare. So off I went and did my homework, and I came across this fella. I watched him pre-breeze. I thought he got a tick off me anyways on the page, and then I watched him the breeze. He was straight as a gun bar, and when I went to see him then afterwards, there was just something about him. His whole physique, his presence, his honesty in his eyes, as you can see, just everything clicked for me, and I actually went to see him 4 times altogether. And yeah, you know, cut a long story short, he was the one I really wanted. And so I said to Mr. Gredley, you know, try and buy this fella. So luckily he did.
To source a stayer, I mean, he wasn't one of the quickest times. What are you looking for when you're watching them breeze? And presumably you're looking for a horse that has that progression that you still think is speedy, but maybe hasn't at that stage of its development.
Yeah, for me it's very important to watch or to see in a breeze that a horse is very straight, handles the dip here at Newmarket, and it's got a good stride to him. I don't like to see horses that don't stride out towards the end of their breeze. They need to gallop out very strongly for me to show that there is some sort of an engine in them. And this fella ticked all the boxes in that way. He was very straight. Ian McCarthy had him and prepped him for the breeze up sale. He done a perfect job with him. And when he went by us, you know, there was just something in him that I thought, oh, this fella looks quite smart.
How do you rate his chances, and how much are you looking forward to the big day?
I wouldn't swap him for anything. If I could ride him, Gina, I'd love to swing my leg around him. I think he'll go around Tattenham Corner like an absolute superstar. The way he travelled at Lingfield around that bend, you know, 9 out of 10 times when they handle Lingfield, they'll handle Epsom. So if he switches off in the early stages, which I think he will, because he's grown up so much and improving so much, I think this fella will have a right chance.
And there's a fantastic symmetry to this story as well, Freddie. I mean, it must be very special to have bought one now back with your old boss who you enjoyed so many great days with. That must be quite something.
Yeah, it's amazing, really.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, you know, things sort of swing around, and I'm just delighted, you know, for the Fanshawe, and obviously very grateful for the Gredleys for using my services to go and buy this horse. And yeah, it's just all coming together now for everyone. So very exciting. He puts a lot of smiles on a lot of faces, I think, and he certainly puts a smile on my face.
Well, Ambiente Friendly is owned by the Gredley family, steeped in racing and breeding history. And Tim Gredley, in addition to looking forward to a Derby runner in a few weeks' time, is competing at the very highest level in show jumping. And with the Olympics just around the corner, we've come here to their centre at Stetchworth Park to find out how much he's looking forward to the next few months.
Because you've had so many good runs over the years, from the breeding operation ones that you've bought, How does Ambiente Friendly at this stage of his development kind of fit in to the profile of very good horses?
So most of our best horses have all been homebreds, and it's been quite a different experience because with your homebreds you've seen them as foals and you get a bit of an gauge for them. This guy was bought obviously from Tattersalls through the Breeze Up sales. He could have gone a very different path. When we bought him, we went to give him a bit of work one day and he was clearly not ready for it. And we all took the decision to take his shoes off and throw him out in the field for 3-4 months, really just to grow and develop, because he just wasn't ready. And I think that was a big part in the success of this horse's career. We realised he had a big engine, but it was just kind of trying to find the best way to manage it. Managing horses is something I really enjoy. I think over the last few years, Dad's started to put a bit more trust in me and let me go with the decisions that I want to make. And it's been great. I think also for Dad and I, we've become a lot closer because of the horse racing. Like Dad with anything, if we're having winners, he's happy. And so far it's going okay.
Looking forward to Epsom. How do you rate his chances?
Genuinely be delighted if he came in the top 3 or 4. There's a couple of horses there that obviously are superstars but underperformed, but ours also could improve a lot from the last run. I think the Fanshaws have done a fantastic job getting him to the first race at Newmarket. It's definitely not fully wound up. At Lingfield, he looked very good. So there could be some improvement yet.
And Tim, you've gone for a change of jockey. Rab Havlin takes over. What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, it was absolutely nothing more than it's a big day, and we wanted to use someone with a lot of experience. Robert's ridden a few winners for us recently, and he's fresh off winning a Group 1 at the weekend, so his confidence is high. And it's absolutely nothing more than that. Callum's been brilliant. He'll still ride our horses, if he wants to. And it's a big day for us as well. And we wanted to make a call that we had someone that had dealt with this situation a lot of times. And, Rab seemed to stand out, and that's the reason we've gone with Robert.
And so we saw him this morning on the horse. He's now in a process, I guess, of getting to know the horse. Had you ridden him before?
He hadn't ridden him before, but strangely enough, he was actually meant to ride him at home a couple of times before, but for whatever reasons he couldn't. So, but I've left that up to Mr. Fanshawe and Rab, and they can decide how they're going to get him their best now. Look, I really don't think the horse is a complicated horse, and I think once he's away from Newmarket, he'll probably be fine. So I'm hoping it will be a good fit.
You're a very busy man yourself in your own career. It's been back with a bang to show jumping. How does your sort of daily life with operating at the top end of show jumping and top end of racing and breeding kind of work?
I enjoy trying to compete at the top level at both industries, and it's something that I get out of bed for in the morning and try and make a plan for the show jumpers and the racehorses to get them to the best of their ability. And I think since I came back into show jumping, I took a very different view on what I wanted to get out of the sport. I didn't particularly want to be going to shows every single week, jumping Grand Prix, but I really wanted to support the British team. And I now try and plan my calendar around peaking at the right times for the team competitions. Yeah, so far it's going okay. Obviously with the Olympics this year. So it's been a very different way of doing things than I used to when I was a kid. I just used to want to try and win everything. But I think it's working, and I just keep my head down and keep going, and hopefully it goes my way.
Heading into Epsom, what will the day, I mean, you're obviously experienced at going to these big races, but what will the day be like for you guys as a family?
I think it would be terrifying, like genuinely terrifying. And I think probably the worst part for us, and it always is for me, is not the race itself, it's the build-up. The last thing you want to do is see your horse coming in and getting overwhelmed by the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. But I think once that's out the way and the horse is cantering down to the start nice and relaxed, then I'll probably start to relax, because I think the race itself will probably suit him.
Yeah, you've had some great horses. I mean, we touched upon User Friendly, but, you know, Pretty Pollyanna most recently, Big Orange. You've had some of those big days in the sun. Does this feel different?
I think it does feel different because it's the Derby, and whatever anybody says, as an Englishman, winning the Epsom Derby is the biggest thing you can want to do. I'm a big believer. I love history. I love all the tradition of the race. So to be able to say you've won that one is definitely a bit more special.